In this project, we're going to use an array to store all the information about our shirts. We'll have one array for the whole catalog. The array will have multiple elements in it, one element for each shirt. Then, on the main shirts listing page, we'll be able to loop through all the shirts using PHP's forEach command. We still have more about arrays to cover before we can build out that page entirely, but let's open up shirts.php and get a basic array in place. At the very top of shirts.php, let's add some PHP code to create an array. The names of the shirts have commas in them, but don't let that confuse you. We have 3 elements here. The text for each element is enclosed in quotation marks. There is a comma between each set of values. The commas inside the quotation marks are treated as text, not as separators between elements. We can put hard returns between each element to make it a little easier to tell them apart. You'll typically see larger arrays written like this. PHP doesn't care how you indent this code, but using indentation like this makes it easier for developers to read. Let's add in the proper HTML for this page, including the wrapper div. Inside that div, let's list off all our shirts in an unordered list. I always recommend writing out the final HTML needed and then working backwards to figure out what PHP you need to generate that. We need one opening UL tag and one closing UL tag. We'll need multiple opening and closing LI tags, one for each shirt. This can help us see exactly what code needs to be contained within the forEach loop. The UL tags do not, since we only need one pair of them. The LI tags do though. We need one set of them for each element in the array. Let's replace the multiple LI tags with a forEach loop that displays one list item for each element in the array. We'll loop through our products array. We'll load each element one after the other into a working variable called product. Then we'll end the forEach loop right after the closing LI. Let's replace this static piece of text with PHP code to display the value of the working product variable. Let's take a look at this page in the browser. Here you see our list with 3 shirt names in it. There's another syntax for adding new elements to an array that will be a little bit easier to maintain as our product array grows both larger and more complex. Instead of creating the full array in one command, we could add elements to an array one at a time with this syntax. This tells PHP to add one new element to the array using whatever index is available next. PHP will assign an index just like it did before. In this example, the red shirt will have an index of 0, the black shirt will have an index of 1, and the blue shirt will have an index of 2. This new shirt then will have an index of 3. Let me be sure to distinguish between these two commands. This command creates a new array with 3 elements in it. This command adds one new element to an existing array. Let's go ahead and rewrite this for consistency's sake so that each new element gets added like this green one did. It's a good practice to declare products first as an empty array. Then we can add each product to it individually. The way we have created our array so far, PHP automatically assigns the key, 0 for the first element, and so on. There are some cases where we'll want a specific key for a particular element, so that we can reference that element by its key later. PHP will allow us to specify the key for each element here inside the square brackets. Let's specify 101 for the key for the red shirt. We could use this for something like a product ID or a SKU, any kind of unique identifier that we'll be able to use to reference a particular shirt elsewhere in our code. Let's specify keys for the rest of these shirts. We'll take a look in the browser, and we'll see the green shirt added to the list. We've covered quite a bit of ground so far. Let's stop here and take a quiz over these new concepts, and then we'll move forward to even more excitement with arrays.